Hi everybody, it's Andrea. Thanks for stopping by. It's been a minute since I've been able to make a video and I'm excited to be here today. I have had a couple of questions in messages and in comments about how the buttons are used to attach the signatures to the spine of a journal. And I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate it. I have my second signature set up and ready to go. I'm going to take you through the whole step. This isn't something I created. I was actually taught this by Karen Anderson. This is an example of one of her journals and how she puts the signatures together and then used buttons. And so she has taught this, others have taught it. This is one that I did before. It just shows you can do it with any type of binding and any type of button. The only guidance that you need is you need your wax linen thread because it does need to be a little hardy. And sorry, I've got glue all over me. I tried to get it off. You need to be able to measure where you want your buttons, and you have to be patient because when you're trying to pull threads through, they sometimes get a little stuck. So it's important to just be super patient. The other thing you need to know is, I'm sorry from arm here, you have to choose, like this is my favorite needle, but it won't fit through my holes. And so you have to make sure that whatever buttons you choose, that the needle will fit all the way through the holes in the button. Otherwise, once you get started, you're not going to have what you need. So I've kind of demonstrated here just for if somebody wants to screenshot this for future, it'll give you an idea of what you're going to do. So this is the needle that I'm going to use, and it makes its way through my holes. And if you're using mother of pearl buttons, make sure that all of the openings are the same. So the other thing that you have to do, you do have to, it's same as with anything, you have to get your signature prepared and snug, but you have to decide when you're doing buttons, where I'm going to do my poking. And so with this, I've already sewn one in. Okay, and you can see I used 5, so it's a 5-hole pamphlet, but it's not quite the pamphlet stitch. And I used 5 buttons, and the center, I will show you here, is tied snugly like so that I can end up putting beads on the end of it. And here again, this is an example of what that looks like. And it makes it so fun. So, excuse me. I have my signature ready. I have it secured at the place that I want it in my cover. And I have to decide, am I going to, with buttons, you have a choice. If you're doing 2 signatures, you've got a choice. With buttons, you can either go directly in sync, so the buttons are right across from each other, or I marked this on the other side so you can see it. You can stagger and have them be offset. So these would be offset. It leaves you with a little unsecured gap down at the bottom, but that's when where your beads and such are going to go, so the extra weight kind of keeps things flat. So you decide, I'm going to go ahead and stay in sync with these. And so I have my paper marked so that I can do, and I'm not as, I'm not super symmetrical with this, but it's not about that. And I'll show you, there's a way you can weave some fibers through this. Okay, let's just go for it. So I have been working on this book filled with lace here, and whatever your method to poke your holes is what you're gonna get. I happen to like this little thing. And you're just gonna make sure that you're nice and secure. And then I drop, everybody does this different. I just drop my measurement tool down. Some people actually use and you're gonna take your owl, and I need to punch way through, not just the papers, but I need it to come out the spine, and I need it to come out really good. I don't want to be dealing with a tiny hole with this. So I'm sorry, this is a little messy trying to pull things up and show you. So I'm going to make 5 holes just like that one. And this makes such a pretty finish. And you can reestablish your holes as you need to, as you're working. We've had so much medical going on in this house that my crafting has been unable to be shared. Okay, so I have 5 holes. I don't know if you can see those. I have 5 big giant holes in there, and I have my quilt clips securing everything, but the holes, you can tell they go through the outside. All right, let's get to stitching. So I use my wax linen, and I've pre-cut this piece, but whatever color suits, and realistically it doesn't matter what you use, but I like to make my color kind of go with whatever my inner signature is, or inner aspect of my signature is, so that it doesn't stand out and be abrupt. I like to make sure that I have 4 lengths. This is what I was taught. And again, you guys, this isn't my method, but I'm just passing on to you. So I like 4 lengths worth and a little more. You're going to go ahead and get, sorry about that, I'm bumping the camera. You're going to get your center, and you're going to mark it. And I use a marker. It actually leaves a little bit of ink that can be covered on your inside of your signature if you do too much. Okay, so I'm terrible. Can we thread? Can we thread the needle while people are watching? 3 needle threaders, toothbrush floss holders are the best. Again, Karen turned me on to that, and they work like a charm, and sadly I didn't prepare for that. So we're just gonna work with my 60-year-old eyes here, and oh no. Oh. Okay, we are threaded. The reason that you mark the center of your thread is because you're going to start with your center hole. And again, I've diagrammed this here for you in case you want to take a screenshot of it. So once you poke your holes, you're going to go down and you're going to pull. So you're going to go all the way through, and you're going to pull your thread until you get to the center and stop there. And the reason that you're going to do that is we're going to work up one direction and come back to middle, and then take this piece and work down this direction, tie them both in the middle, and then you have even threading in order to make your bead dangles or to do whatever it is that you wish. Okay, so while I have this threaded, boy, I'm out of practice with videos. When you're making putting the bead on, you want to start with the bead in the position that you want it to be in, because if you start this way and you go up, it's going to be upside down. So you insert and then push it down and then reinsert, and you're going to go back through the exact same hole. And this gets, like I said, it's a little persnickety, but you're gonna go right, so just bear with me, guys. I'm not perfect with it. You're gonna go through as close to the exact same hole as possible here. And what if you're off a little tiny bit? Well, you know what, life happens. So there I am. And now, you know, when Karen made the video, she just did such an amazing job with it. Look at, Andrea's got her thread stuck. There she goes. All right. So now I have a button, and I want to pull it. I want to pull my thread through, and secure it really, really snug. So now I have it stitched in. I am now going to take my needle and I'm going to repeat the process, and I'm going to go down the next hole all the way out. Pull snugly. Remember, put it the direction that you want it to go in. Feed it back through the same hole. Once you have it snug through, make sure that there's no extra loop sitting on the other end. No, they're not all symmetrical. I'm not that good. So I know that there's a way to make the threads go exactly right and everything go exactly right. But I think that there's beauty in the imperfection. So the next piece is to go through the top hole and repeat the steps. And so, wow, did you get to see my hand? See, it's been a minute since I made a video. What's wrong? All right, so we're gonna go through the top hole again. Whoopsie. Back down. Okay, so you see that loop. Well, that's part of the problem. So you see that loop that I'm starting to get. That's not uncommon, and what you have to do is just make sure that you pull snugly and then pull on your needle. And Andrea has made a big mistake here because I forgot my loop. So I'll be right back. You know what? I was going to turn this off and show you what not to do, but I'm going to actually show you what to do when you make a mistake, because I have so many people tell me that this method can frustrate them. So what I have done is just taken my needle off my thread, and I am going to pull that back out. Pull it back out through the hole, because all I forgot to do was put it through the second hole. And it happens, things happen. I've tried shank buttons with this, and while they do look beautiful, they really don't serve this purpose very well, because they stick out too much and they don't secure the paper too much. Okay, so now I've corrected my error, and I'm going back through. Okay, and so what is, oh, it's just my tail. You're getting to see all kinds of goodies today. All right, so I have those 3 and I just have the remaining 2 to do. And so I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to thread now my bottom piece. And so again, I'll link what Karen taught us using these threaders. I mean, dental floss picks are perfect for threading, especially wax linen through a challenging eye. My big eye needle is my favorite, and it passes, it passes through so beautifully, but it doesn't work with these buttons. So flatten out your wax linen thread and work your way through if you're trying to do it the hard way. Okay, just a small tail. So we're gonna repeat this process again. I'm gonna go down, and you wanna make sure things haven't moved. So because you've been working, make sure that it's coming out where you want it to be, which it is. And sometimes, depending on, like this is a Craftex cover, and so it doesn't always want my needle to go through. So this time we're going to remember the up and the down. Yes, Andrea, up and down are better choices. And then back out. You're really getting the picture by now. You're able to see the steps. Now, once you see that looping like that, you want to make sure that you pull, that you get, by pulling on that, look at how secure I was able to make that. And so when you're making sure that your threads stay nice and secure, it will hold your buttons in place, but it will also hold your signature properly in place. So I have that one secured. I'm going to go down. Now, what happens if you need to reestablish your hole? Do it. Do it. Sometimes the bigger the signature, the more challenging the hole will get. Ha, that's so much easier. Up and down, because we don't want to do the other one again, right? Now this is another method I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not a super fan of. You can get this really secured and then poke your hole through. I wanted to show that. And so I prefer to work with my button being loose and being able to secure it once I get my thread through, but neither is wrong. As long as what we have here and what we have here are nice and secure. And so the last step is just to remove your needle and tie, get rid of your threads, and tie the two together. Now, I go down once and then I loop my threads through my loops under. Boy, I'm out of video shape. Can you tell? We've been so sick, and then my daughter had surgery, and it's just been a mess. Okay, so I like to loop that through so that I'm securing the signature with the knot together with all of the threads and not just to the centerpiece and having those other pieces loose. Tie a couple of knots. Do not cut this off. Leave it dangling so you can add bead dangles. Remove all of your fun security, and there you have it. So this is the completed version of a button stitched signature journal. Anyway, I just wanted to pass that on. Again, it's not my method, but there's a lot of people out there that have been asking about it, and I get a lot of comments in my videos, so I just wanted to share. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.